Welcome back to Unsolved Mysteries of the Reservation. I always get tongue-tied. Sorry.
Cut.
Do it again.
Cut my tongue out.
Snake's got his tongue.
He's getting eaten right now by that snake. No.
Fell asleep.
Still on hold.
Still ain't got called back to the doctor's office yet, man. Still waiting.
Still in the lobby. Oh my god. But yeah, we're on this episode we'll just talk about some stories. Anybody got? I know Chris just got back from Ohio.
Oh yeah, that was a good one up there. I got to see so much stuff up there. I mean, they got a lot of haunted places up there, and of course, there's a lot of history, especially around that Cleveland and Columbus, Ohio area. They've got all kind of things running around those woods, and they also have a lot of haunted places there, which I think is probably all explainable to the history, history of that land. Everybody always thinks it's these modern ghosts that are haunting a lot of these places, but from my visit, I don't think that's all true. I think a lot of those places are being haunted by the original people in that area, but you can't tell that to those owners and stuff. They always think it's a white man ghost or the owner's ghost. But as as Indian folks' belief is that for spirits, they travel all over the place. Time and place means nothing to a spirit. So to me, I like I said, I went to several different places. Some of them were supposed to be famously haunted, and of course, I went in there, and a lot of it was just, I don't know how you say, I don't want to say they weren't haunted. I just say I didn't have no experiences there, and the stories that they had behind it was like real hokey. But some of those places, they were for real. I was telling my family I went to that Ohio State Reformatory. That's been on, Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, Taps, and all those ghost shows. They've all investigated that place. And, one, I thought it's dirt cheap to get in. Two, is, what do you say, a lot of opportunities for you to really visit that old facility. And for some of you guys may not know that name of it, but it was in that Shawshank Redemption movie. Okay. And that's where they filmed a lot of those prison scenes and stuff, and it's still set up that way. And I will tell you, firsthand experience, that's an awesome place. If you're into paranormal, to me, that's the place to go to if you're in Ohio. And to me, I walked that whole, I posted a lot of those pictures and videos on my Instagram and on my TikTok. I haven't put nothing on Facebook just yet, but I'm getting ready to post some pictures that I had from there. And they were real generous people. They were real helpful. They let me have the run of the place. And I did. I took my time. I actually went there 2 days in a row because it's so big. I mean, it's a big place. And, I will say that you get, like a breeze in a room that has no windows or no vents, no modern AC type thing, but it was super cold. In Ohio, I'm gonna tell you guys, man, that heat up there is for real. I mean, that's no joke up there. And so you go into a building that's ice cold, something's got to be there. And of course, I would see shadows and hear things. And when I went, there was no other tours going on. I just happened to stumble up there. I talked to the person that was running the door, and she goes, "You come all the way from Oklahoma?" She said, "Well, we'll make this happen for you." She said, "Right now we're not supposed to, we do all our tours. They schedule them and there's stuff like that. But if you're just passing through and you're willing to, share things, that's okay. So anyway, I went through there and." Man, I tell you what, some of the things that I experienced in that facility was downright eerie. And I even posted a picture of me in that famous cell 13. And I'm sitting there posing up, and, hoping that ghost is posing up with me, showing those tats, like that, That's why I was telling those ghosts, I said, I'm here to visit, and I want to communicate, with you guys. You guys got anything to say, or want me to try to send a message across? And I will say there were some things that answered back. They didn't really communicate with me verbally, but they showed themselves, and I got a lot of voices that I couldn't make out, and it was just like it was so faint I could just barely make out the noise. But I know it wasn't no outside interference. There was nothing else, because this place is fenced in all the way around, because it used to be an old prison. And you have to get access to get in there. They'll open those gates certain time, but like I said, I went down there when nobody was around. And so I just had a great time running around in there and looking around. They have this one room that I posted a picture, and it says, "Never shut the door." And they also said, "Never sit in that chair." Well, me being me, I did both. And anyway, they said, the story behind that room is that there was I don't know how you say, like a bully inmate. He was in there picking on everybody. And prison, I guess you can get away with that for so long, and then they gang up on you, and that's what happened. They got him in that room, and man, they tore him up. Not only did they kill him, but they cut him up. But they killed him in that chair. They had tied him and slit his throat.
Whoa.
And they started, doing all kinds of stuff. And I'm thinking, dang, where's all these guards at? They didn't able to do that. But, again, this guy was a bully. And I know in that prison system, sometimes give somebody that pack of smokes, people look the other way. So anyway, they said, that individual got X'd out in that room and in that chair. And they said, if you ever go in there, you sit in that chair, he's gonna represent on you and stuff. And they say also, if you shut that door, that spirit kind of gets kind of crazy. And so, like I said, I went in there and I asked them, I said, "Is it okay?" And they said, "If you want to, go ahead, guy." But we're telling you right now, we're not responsible for anything that happens to you. And I said, "All right then." So I shut that door and I plopped down in that chair, and sure enough, I heard, growling.
Whoa.
They always say growling is, they always refer to it as demonic, but I didn't consider it demonic. I just thought that spirit was just super mad.
Mm-hmm.
And I did feel that chair start to shake.
Oh man.
And I was sitting there and I was thinking, is that all you got? No. But anyway, it did kind of startle me at first because, I mean, it happened so quick to me. And so I got up. I was getting ready to go open that door, and I felt something really push me from behind. And it pushed me pretty good. And, of course, me being me, you know, I turned around and said, what's up? No. You want some of me? No. You don't know me, guy. No, I'm just kidding. But I turned around, you know, and I tried to talk to it, you know. I told him, I said, I apologize for offending you, if that's what it is. I said, but I come here to communicate with you. You know, and I don't mean to upset you or anything like that. I'm just coming here just to, you know, visit with you and to see, you know. And like I said, all I kept hearing was growling. And this growling was crazy because it started behind me in my right ear, and I could literally hear it go around the room. It stopped and it stood on the left side of me.
It was like interrogation, almost kind of. You see in those movies where they move from one angle to another.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought, dang, that's pretty crazy. But I stayed in there for about at least, I don't know, maybe about 10 minutes like that. And then I thought, well, I better quit. You know, I know it's probably getting mad, so I wanted to be respectful to it. So I said, forget you, and opened the door. No, I was kidding. No, I opened the door, you know, and again, I apologized, you know, if I offended it or whatever. And as soon as I stepped outside that door to let that lady know, you know, I'm done, I heard laughing. And I thought, uh-oh, so this is going to be a good day. So
Dang.
anyway, of course, I went walking around through the rest of that place, and I got to this where they have this shower room, and I took a picture of it, you know, and I posted it on that Instagram. And the shower area was crazy because, again, this was a room that had no windows, no vents. The only vent it had was for the water. And I went in there, and you know, that lady was telling me that in that shower area there was a lot of people that got X'd out. That's what they would call it, you know. A lot of things happened during that shower time. People would get, you know, stabbed or whatever, and they would die in that shower room. So there was she gave me a number, but it was pretty high, you know, however many died in that shower. And I was sitting there thinking, man, and that breeze was so strong, it moved my hair.
Whoa.
And I said, man, and it is like it just whipped through. And of course, I turned on my recorder and I started asking questions, but I didn't never catch anything. And so, anyway, I kind of walked around, left that area, and was going to this. I went to the hospital area, you know, and of course they said, you know, when people got shanked or stabbed or, you know, whatever, they would bring them there first. And, you know, even if they passed away, you know, their body would wait there till, what do they call it? Those people that pick up the dead. What?
Corners?
Yeah, the coroner, you know, would come and thank you for that. Coroner would show up and, you know, take them from there. And I was in there, and I seen shadows all over the place in there. And I tried to catch it with my camera, but, you know, sometimes it's like that. You know, when you're in there, sometimes if they want to be recorded, they'll be recorded. If they don't, you know, good luck on it. But, you know, a lot of times, you know, especially if they know you're recording, you know, they're quick. You know, those spirits are fast. And, you know, I would see them. I seen one go in one room. I seen another one go in another room. Of course, I'd follow them. I took my camera. I shined it in there, waited a little bit, see if they do anything else, but I just didn't have any luck, with my camera. And but as far as experiences go, I had quite a bit. That's a huge prison. I think it has like 5 or 6 floors to it. It's quite a bit of floors. And I did like the first 2 one day, and that took a long time. And this was like on a weekend, so I went back the next day, and I did the actual prison part, and then I also did the top level floors. And the top level floors, I mean, you would just hear things walking behind you. You hear those feet just, I don't know, hard to, like that. That shuffling sound, I guess that's what you call it.
Yeah.
And you would hear that all the time, but I didn't get that on any of my recordings. I was mad. I was like, man, I said, dang, But again, like I was saying, sometimes you don't always catch stuff, especially when you're just one guy and a phone. But if I had my other equipment, I probably would have got them. I would have said, "Pooyah." No. But anyway,
Did you go by yourself, or were you? Is it like a tour? Like, is it when you go to pay? You said you paid for that. Is it just you yourself, or did you go with like a group?
no, I was by
Just by
myself.
yourself?
By myself, and the only one that was with me was the tour guide.
Oh, okay.
And first day was a female, next day was this dude. But they were real informative of what was going on, and what place you went, and they were showing me keen stuff where these other ghost shows had came, and they got a lot of activity, and of course I went to those places, and I did get some experience, but the main things. I always like going to where you don't get a lot of stuff, because I want to be the first to say I got something there. But anyway, of course I was walking around, telling those things. I want to communicate with them, and I went to the prison part, and where they had all the jail cells and stuff. And dang, I sat in one of them for a long time. And right before I was about ready to leave, I turned my camera off, which dummy. But as soon as I turned that camera off, you see that I don't know what you call it, like the mattress on top of that cell bed. It moved. It went like that, and it was fast. And of course, I turned the camera on. Nothing else happened. And I thought, dang. But I should have left it on. That's me. That's my mistake. I'll be man enough to say, But, on your camera phone, if I had my regular camera, I have a lot of, memory and a lot of time. But on your camera, on your phone, you only got so much. So didn't want to use it all up. And anyway, I was just walking around, different places. I went to the old cafeteria, and of course, in prisons, stuff happens all over the place, and they said a lot of activity happened. I've seen a lot of shadows in there. Again, nothing on my camera, but the eeriest place was where they did the executions. Now that was cool. I thought, wow, I went in there and I sat on that old electric chair, and you could feel like things were in there with you. I mean, you could just feel it. It's like something breathing on you, and you felt the essence. And the essence of that was fear and sadness.
I bet it was pretty heavy.
It was. I mean, it was pretty eerie, but I thought, man, this is something else. But I sat in there for a long time, had that video camera on, nothing. But as soon as I turned it off, I heard something in a low voice said, "Get out." And anyway, when I was getting out, I heard them say something to the effect, I forgot how it was phrased, but whatever it was, how it was phrased, that lady or that man that was giving the tour said that's what those guards would say when the person is fully passed away.
Mhm.
And I thought, wow, that's crazy. But again, I didn't catch it on camera. I could kick myself. But anyway, I will say, if you're ever in that area, definitely go see it. I thought that was pretty cool. The people that run it's pretty friendly. Trying to raise money to keep it going and to preserve it. And they have a little museum in there, and they also have a area that they dedicated to that Shawshank Redemption movie.
Mhm.
You can see all the cutouts and all the little items that they used in the filming. And so even if you don't catch a ghost, even that's pretty cool. So, but I would definitely encourage anybody get a chance. You really want to experience something, definitely sit in that chair and shut that door. So
I'm good.
I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
about
a
Chris.
pretty hard pass on that one.
But I will also say this too, people always hear the good parts of it, and I've always kind of tried to educate people about doing this and being careful of what you do, even while I was in there, I would get that sick feeling.
Mhm.
And I had that sick feeling even up to the next day.
Mm.
And you had this, I call them after effects, because you still have that smell, taste, and feeling of that place. And it haunted me at night when I went back to my room. And also had activity in my room after that evening.
Whoa.
So, anyway, again, if you're looking for something real, I definitely say go check that place out. That was pretty cool. So, I had a great time in that. That was probably like the place out of all the places there I went to. But I did go to several places too that I had pretty good experience. I went to this one. It was the Gill House, Gill House, and this was kind of a. I posted the remarks from the owner. He was there, and again, he was super kind. He let me roam around and told me about all the ghost investigations that they had and everything like that in this house, and I got to walk around into that house, and he said there's a part of the house where the original owner had died. The husband, he passed away, and his wife was, kind of superstitious, so she built a wall in the room that he died and kind of marked it off from the rest of the house. But after she passed away, I guess one of the sons went in there and opened it back up, and turned it back into a bedroom, and you can see in my pictures, where they kind of walled it off, and now it's got a staircase, and it kind of looks like an apartment inside that house.
Mhm.
And so I got to go in there, and they said, a lot of people don't like to go in there, because they say they see things, they hear things, and they get sick. I didn't get sick, but I did hear quite a bit of like a man talking, and this one, I was trying to make out what he was saying, but it was just so faint you couldn't even hear it. And when I went in there, it was super dark. When I shut the door, it was pitch black in that room, and I don't know why I didn't do this, but I should have put that recorder on, but I thought, you know, it's my phone camera, it's not a night camera, I ain't gonna catch nothing, you know, video wise. But when I was in there, I seen flashes, like real quick flashes of light, and it'd be right in front of me, then it'd be to the side of me, you know, and it was like it was moving. And of course it was super dark, and I started to find my phone, and you know, I had shorts on that had, you know, these cargo pants, tight pockets, and I was trying to find my phone, and by the time I couldn't find my phone, and so I opened the door to get light to come in, you know, to find my phone, and I got my phone, and I went back in there, turned it on. Of course, nothing happened. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm killing myself. No, well, anyway, after that, you know, I go around walking around that house, and they said the attic's real active, so I went and sat up there in the attic for a while and didn't get nothing. So I started walking through the house with my phone camera on. And there's one room in that video, and I posted this on my Instagram, and now I think on TikTok too. There's one room I walk into, and you see that bright flash, that blue flash, goes right in front of me, right into the wall.
Dang.
And, you know, this was during the daytime. They had all the, what do they call it, curtains closed, and something behind it to not let light in. And so I tried to recreate that, because I thought maybe it might be a car light, might be, you know, something else. But I never could recreate that light, you know, going quick past me into that wall. And it's on that Instagram video. You'll see it. So, you know, if you haven't checked it out, you know, check it out, see what you think, and, you know, maybe you have an explanation of what it was. But, you know, I did try to recreate it. I thought it might be a, you know, reflection from outside, from a car, or car lights or something. But no, car lights aren't blue like that. So, you know, it was so quick, my camera barely caught it, but I did catch it. So this time I was pretty happy with myself. I was pretty, so yep, that's how it goes. No,
I'm king.
I know it. So they trying to trick me, but I got them.
I'm going to turn this off.
I know it.
Check that goes.
But yeah, you'll see me walking through that house, you know, and looking around, and that one room, you'll see it. That thing just goes right past me, right into that wall, and it's pretty cool. So I had other experiences. I was down in the basement. I went down there just to check it out. He said, "Be careful. You know, it's hasn't been remodeled yet. You know, there's a lot of things that could fall. You know, whatever. Just be careful." And there's spiders and snakes and stuff like that. And so I went down there and was checking it out. And one of those rooms, I seen a shadow. I mean, it was a dark shadow. We went from one wall to the next.
Whoa.
And
Was it tall shadow, or just?
no, it was probably, I don't know, 5'2". It was you know, it was a man though. It was shaped like a man. And because you could tell this thing had facial hair, beard, and because of the way the outline of that shadow was. And of course I went upstairs and I told that owner, and he said, "Did it look like this?" And he showed me this picture on this mantle, and I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, that's the old owner."
Whoa.
And I put that picture that he showed me of that owner. It's on my Instagram on that little short video.
Dang.
So anyway, you know, I thought that was pretty cool. And again, that Gill House, they're trying to raise money to keep it restored. So to me, that was another good place to go. They say they do ghost investigations. It's pretty cheap to get in there. Sometimes he said they won't even charge. They just ask for donations. So whatever you can donate, to keep that place live and stuff. So anyway, if you guys are in that area again, that Gill House is definitely one of a good hot spots. I went to another place up there called the Prospect House, and this one, I don't know. This one was pretty crazy. I went there during the day. I had got super hot, and I kind of stumbled upon this place. And I went in. It said it had a museum in there and stuff, and they was telling me the history of this place. And again, a lot of those ghost shows were at this place. They done several investigations, and everybody caught something cool and stuff. And I was just trying to cool off because, man, that heat up there was so hot. Man, it even burnt when you breathed it in. It was that hot. And, I said, dang, that's crazy. But anyway, I went in there to kind of cool off, and I was sitting in there, and that it was just me and the lady that opened it up for me. And she was really talking it up, saying, all these, and she had all these write-ups, from all these ghost shows about the place, and she was showing me all those, and I said, oh, this place is haunted, huh? And to me, I felt like I got super lucky on this, because, like I said, I just went in there just kind of cool off, and she goes, yeah, this is a famous haunted place, and all the ghost shows been here, and she was taking me around, and she makes some good lemonade, I'll tell you that too. Just the lemonade alone be good. But anyway, I was drinking that lemonade. She said, but in that, it's like a garage type area, and she was telling me about those ghost hunters shows, and they all went out screaming. So whatever got a hold of them in that thing, really scared them. And even that Ghost Adventures guy, him and his crew went in there, and that thing tore them up and scared them so bad they didn't even put it in their show. And I said, dang. I said, it's that bad? She goes, yeah. She said, a lot of people, they won't go in there. Won't even set foot in there because it's pretty bad. So I said, oh, yeah. I said, can I go in there? She goes, are you crazy? I said, no, but I'd like to see, what got a hold of them, that. She goes, man, I don't know. She goes, we don't have no waivers or nothing. And I said, well, that's all right. I said, I said, if you want to, I said, you can record me saying, I know I'll hold you guys responsible for anything. She goes, okay. She goes, that your word's good enough. She said, go ahead, go in there. She said, I'm not going in there, but you can go ahead and go in there. So, of course, I went in there and, was trying to talk to those spirits and anything, and was trying to see what I could get, of course. I heard things walking around, but I felt something. It felt like like fingernails hitting my leg, and I got a mark on my leg. And right there. Can you guys see it?
Oh, yeah.
So I guess I did get scratched by whatever was in there, but, I was sitting there thinking, dang, is that all you can do? No. But anyway, I thought you was going to,
You were tough.
I know it, but anyway, I did get scratched, and I still have a mark from it. And whatever it was in there, I do know it's very hostile. I seen, like I said, a lot of shadows, but I never could catch nothing again with my camera in there, again, or my phone camera. And I think I wish I would just had a regular camera in there with night vision.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have really got that money shot. No. But anyway, I did hear things in there, and like I said, I did experience something that scratched me. But I will definitely say it again, if you're in that area, that place is a good place to go to. And I just wish I had a film crew with me and had been more prepared for it, because I think I would have really caught something. But again, that day I will say, except for the scratch, I don't know if the rest of it was because of the heat or if it was real. You know what I mean? Because a lot of that I couldn't catch with my camera, which doesn't always mean anything. But, to me, that kind of put a big question in my mind if it was from the heat or was I really experiencing something. But there's one other story of this place, that Prospect House. After I was done with that garage looking thing, I went back in, and it was hot in there too, so it kind of made me sick, or I think it was the heat, but I don't know. She said, well, it might be because that thing scratched you. And I said, oh, I don't know. I said, I think it's just the heat. So anyway, I went back in, and there was one room that was kind of like looked like somebody's old bedroom, had a nice desk and a chair. And they said one of the owners had passed away at that desk. And anyway, they said, he had hit his head on that desk when he died. She said some people believe he got shot in the back of the head, but she said we don't know about that. But we do know he did bleed on that desk, and there's a blood mark on that.
Blood stain.
Yeah, on that desk. So they said people see him, at that desk or wherever. And so me being me, I thought, well, I guess I'll sit in here for a little bit.
Sit in that chair.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't sit in the chair. I thought,
Laid your head down on the desk.
I'm gonna put my face on that blood stain.
No, I didn't do that. I wish I did now that I thought about it. But anyway, there was one of those long old type bench chairs that had cushions on it. And it was so comfortable. I'll be honest, I fell asleep in there, and I was out, boy, and I just jumped too for some reason. Something kind of woke me up, and me, just kind of waking up. I opened my eyes, and I swore I saw someone sitting at that desk.
Oh man!
And then when I kind of, wiped my eyes and kind of looked real good, it was gone.
Man.
So again, I don't know if it was because I was waking up, or I was still recouping from the heat, or what. But to me, that was pretty awesome. And I did take a lot of pictures of that desk or that room, see if I might be able to catch something, but didn't catch anything. But anyway, that was pretty cool. But that Prospect House was pretty cool. So I had a pretty good amount of I don't know how you say experiences, but my main thing I was up there for was for the Ohio Grassman. And I had heard so many stories from all those community people and all those I don't know what you would call them, spiritual people off in that area. You got different kinds of people in that area, like those Amish and Dang, I can't remember the names of the other ones.
The Mennonites.
Yeah, the Mennonites, and there's a couple other groups that were in that community. And to me, they were all spiritual people. They remind me of Indian folks. Because they was telling me how each one of them are no good. I said, dang, so y'all sound like Indian folks. Got dog each other up here, but no.
Don't go to that guy.
I don't know. Those people over there, man, I don't know. No. But, no, they were telling me, all kinds of, spooky stories. And they were telling me about that grass man. He kind of helps them out sometimes, and they were telling me that they had old relations with some of the original tribes that were there, and how they got some of these stories from them. And this Ohio grassman, they believed he could do supernatural things. And it sounds like, how we talk about him down this way, the smell of him, how he can freeze everything, where everything goes silent, and it gives that funny vibe. And, along with the tree knocks and the crying at night, or the howling, whatever you want to call it, and they say, they'll see him in those fields, and to them that's a good sign if he's in their fields, because he's bringing, supernatural powers to them. Which I was kind of shocked, because I consider these kind of more Anglo type religious people, so I thought they might not like those kind of things, But to me, they were like Indian folks. They respected him in that way, that, when he would come and, bless their fields like that, they knew they were going to have good things, And, they said, they didn't mind telling me those things, because they knew I was, Native American, and so they shared those stories with me. And they brought a lot of their culture from overseas, and again mingled it with Native American things too. So a lot of those stories that they told, about him running across the road and stuff, it wasn't like he was hurting anything. They were just telling me, this is where he's at, this is his land, this is his territory. And so when I heard that, I was out in those fields for, several days. So, my campsite, I knew something would visit those campsites, but they never took anything. And so, those community people were telling me, that's probably that grass man, he's checking on you. Make sure you're all right. They had all these trails in those woods, and that woods was thick. And again, I posted some videos of me chasing after that Bigfoot entity in those woods. But the thing I thought was cool was I would get out there in the morning, and towards the afternoon, I'd go run into the woods to kind of cool off, hide from that sun, for a little bit till it cools off. I started noticing that some of these trees were bent, broken. And I started following him. It's like he was marking that territory for me. And, they had these, what do you call, like natural springs in there. And those tree marks would lead me all the way to those water. And I thought, dang, that's pretty cool. Because the first time I found them, man, I jumped in there and started, cooling off. Because, man, that heat was unreal. But, I got in that cold water and it cooled me off. And then as soon as I got enough, I could sit, dry off, and by that time it's evening time again. I could get out there and finish up. And I think he was helping me out like that, so I started leaving things for him. Basket of fruit, different kind of fruit. And I tell you what, those baskets would be gone, the whole basket. And if it was an animal, he would have took here and there, whatever. I always looked at the ground to see if I could find footprint, but there was never no footprint. And if it was a human, you'd be too busy taking all the stuff than to wipe his feet off. And that was, I don't know. To me, it was pretty interesting to have that experience because, I think he was helping me out because, man, that heat was just unreal, and I know my people back home, they prayed for me, that I'd go up there, be in a good way, and come back home. And I don't think if I didn't find those natural springs, I might not have come back, because that heat was, it was brutal. But, I enjoyed myself up there, looking for that stuff. But I will admit, I was out of shape, trying to run up those big old mountains. Every one of those videos, you can hear me really breathing hard, boy. Dang.
About Dire Straits.
I know it, man. But I was in that Bigfoot workout.
Body by Bigfoot.
I know it. I said, dang, no wonder that guy's in such good shape, man. He goes up them hills like nobody's business, man. He's got to be in shape. So
Jacked.
I said, man, that's crazy. But yeah, I had a lot of experience that, to me, I knew something was there. They kept telling me that you couldn't see black bears. They'll be around, but you ain't gonna see them. But dang, I seen black bears all over the place up there. My first instance, I did a video on it. I saw that black bear. He was in this part of the woods, and I went to get my phone out to put it on him, and I lost him. I put it and I tried to find him. So for me being me, I'm not gonna push the issue, because I don't know if it's a female black bear with cubs or what, So I turned around and went the other way, when I lost track of him, sight of him, because I didn't want to stumble upon him and be me versus that black bear. No. I have to introduce him to that Oklahoma elbow.
Man versus black bear.
I know, I put that claw on him like that, boy. But, they won't shame him out like that. No. So I went the other way. So anyway,
Let him live.
I know it.
Go tell all the other bears.
I know it.
Chris is here.
Yep. So I had mercy on you like that, boy. But anyway, so I went the other way, and I seen them a couple more times. So, but at the end of one of my videos on Instagram, there's a picture. You can say whatever it is. Might just be a bunch of leaves, or it might be a black bear. But you see something kind of hiding behind a tree. So you'll see that. So I can't say if it was the Ohio grassman or if it was a bear, or it might have been just the way the woods, shaped around that tree. But I did catch something. So, but my belief, I think that was him. And, I was appreciative of him allowing me to be there and for him to help me out in that good way, And so for that, I just told him my dough, for those things, because again, my people, we have a different outlook on Bigfoot. He's one of us. So anyway, I had a lot of good experiences up there, and I've probably taken too much time, so I'll go ahead and say that much.
I like how they respected him. And then they just had they weren't trying to like hunt them or do all this crazy stuff like we did down here.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, just it's cool to hear in a different community in Ohio. In Hawaii and Ohio.
Wow.
She's got the grass skirts.
Yeah.
You're
doing,
on
doing that hula dance.
Coconut bras up there.
Oh. Introducing that old dance to me like that way, boy.
oh man. I was gonna say when you fell asleep, you woke up in that snake belly?
Might have. No.
I was gonna say maybe she put something in that lemonade.
God.
Dang, might have. No.
Yeah,
Dang,
you check
I
your
know.
pockets.
I know you come out $20 short, man.
Yeah. I said, sure enough, it's an Indian girl. No.
I'm a
Got
little light.
robes. Got robes like that. Boy.
Man, I have to say, I have the utmost respect for you because of the fact that you go out into these spooky areas, supernatural areas by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's savage, man. I have to give you respect for that because I ended my my ghost hunting days at 22. Man, I couldn't do it, but I guess I'll go ahead and I'll tell you the reason why I don't do that stuff anymore. So I told a story, you know, on the live at the live podcast when you guys are at the Tiger Gallery. So this is the last time I ever went out there at Merle Home Park and in Tahlequah, kind of in Park Hill. I took a group of friends, probably 4 or 5 of us. I can't remember exactly. We went so many times, but this final time, you know, I used to kind of mess with them a little bit. I knew Merle Home real well. I knew all the secret trails to get to somewhere a little faster, you know, because the trails kind of go up a hill and then they come back down. And you know, one thing too that you know, this is something, you know, I guess is kind of not inside baseball, but you know, people that know these things or that are aware of these things, they but you see like stray animal or like a cat. But you see a cat falling down the trail, middle of the trail. You know, we're walking, and as we're kind of going up the side, kind of going up the hill, and there's a bunch of trees around us, and you see this one cat just, you know, moseying its way down the middle of the trail, following us. You know, so most people say, "Oh, you know, it's just a stray cat. Somebody's been feeding a stray cat." But there's a light pole that's kind of at the edge of the trail, and you could see it as the cat was getting more and more away from that light. He was growing taller. So, you know, so we kept walking, and I'm starting to feel it in my neck. It's like a spidey sense type thing that I get in my neck where, you know, something's not right. You know, we probably need to get out of here. So we're crossing the bridge. So basically how this lays out is there's the parking lot, and then there's a trail, or there's a concrete kind of a gully area, and then you go across that. Then you go across the creek that runs behind Merle Home Park that goes on back into the middle of the country. And then you have the trails. There's a bridge, and then there's trails back there. There's multiple different trails. And, you know, we're walking them, and like I said, that cat keeps following us. So I'm like, man, it's starting to get spidey senses going off. And so we're like, oh, let's get out of here. And as we cross the bridge, I go, you know what? I'm going to mess with these. I'm going to mess with these non-Indians, I'll say. And there's a thing that you're not supposed to hoot 3 times. It's a known thing. You know, my grandpa growing up, he'd always say, "Don't do it here, especially here," because he did the same thing to non-Indians back when he was going to college. And I just, you know, being a 21, 22-year-old kid, you know, or not kid, but just someone that's, you know, not, you know, you're not mature. You're not. You know, I'm still wilding out a little bit.
Yeah.
Get across that bridge, and I hoot the first time. And they're like, and I could tell they're starting to get a little antsy. They're anxious, you know. Don't do it. They're like, don't do it. I'm like, no, I want y'all to see what's really out here. Do it a second time. Oh, hey, all right, you know, let's the third time. And not even 2 seconds later, it was from under the bridge. I blacked out. next thing I remember was coming back to Muskogee. I remember we were in the car. I had blanked out. I didn't know what happened. And next thing I remember when I get back in my mind is we're almost in Muskogee. Now, I've asked some elders about this and you know, family members, and what I think what happened was is this thing took a piece of me for that moment. I was doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing. And you know, I always look back. I haven't been back to the park since. I mean, like I said, this is 6 years ago, maybe more. Like I said, the dates are, you know, I guess really doesn't matter. But you know, when you do things and you call them out and you make a scene or a show of them, you know, you're not gonna like the results most times. And that park means a lot to me. It's closed down now. I think it closed down, I think 5, 6, 7 years ago, I think. But that's the last time I've been out there. And, you know, I just look at my whole, you know, experiences with going out into these haunted places and trying to stir things up, you know, trying to get a reaction out of them. And, you know, that's the last time. And I'm like, man, I'm done. I'm retired. I'm out the game. I'm like, I'm out of here. But you know, there's a whole myriad of things out there that, you know, we really don't know. You know, for instance, people that live in Midtown area, there's some tunnels down there underneath the surface. They're really drains, but they're manhole, like they're man size. You know, they're, you know, a full grown man, 6 foot, you know, 6'5" guy can just walk down in there. And this story was told to you by one of my employees. So there's a park. Well, when the drains aren't, you know, when it's not raining and it's, you know, it's been dry, the drains are pretty much clear because all that sewer water, whatever it is, you know, gets drained out. He had grown up with this guy, like, you know, as he, you know, gotten to an age where he was like in middle school, and the guy goes, "Yeah, you never go down that tunnel right there," because there was 3 tunnels. They always went to the right. Every time he said, "Hey, we take you down there," because you could basically go all the way to downtown in these tunnels, like these drains. And he goes, "You know what? I'm gonna go down the middle one, see what's going on." And I get goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps telling the story because when he told me, I said I couldn't believe it. But basically, he got all the way down, and where this park sits. And this is back in, like I said, this is back in the '80s when he's a kid. He's in his 40s now. There was a dormitory preparatory for single mothers that helped them finish school back in the day, and then there was a hospital. I'm not sure if there's. I said I haven't been over in that area in some time to investigate. I thought about going out there. I was like, man, he told me. I said, man, I don't live too far from there. You know, I started thinking about getting back into it, but he went down that middle tunnel and they went on down, and there was a, you know, and this is, you know, I guess advisory, but kind of, you know, there was a baby, an actual baby, on an altar down there. Yeah, and he got so scared he kind of fight or flight kicks in, you know, and he sits there for a second and's kind of like in shock because there's pentagrams all over the place. There's just sigils everywhere, and his buddy's like, "Come on, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here, man." He's like, "There's something here. I can feel it. There's something here." And he turns around and there's this big 8-foot shadow. I'm getting goosebumps telling this. His 8-foot shadow. He looks at it and looks at him. He said, "I could see its eyes. I couldn't see the shape of it, but you could see the eyes." And he went to kind of back up, and the thing went right through him. Like he could feel it pass through him. And so it kind of led his life in a weird direction, you know. But after that, you know, because he's Cherokee, so, you know, he had to go to his people down where he's from. And so he told me that story, and that's you know, even more reason why I don't investigate stuff anymore. I just collect stories. Tell me what you went through. You know, I'd like to hear that. You know, but I get goosebumps telling that story. And like I said, there's more to the story. Basically, his friend that showed him the tunnels, his dad was a preacher, a Christian preacher in the day and a satanic preacher in the night.
Whoa.
So he basically was living a double life, making money off the church and then spending his money on the other side. Mm-mm. So yeah, it's some crazy stuff out here.
Wow.
I didn't mean to hit y'all that hard with that, man.
No, we'll have to take a break on that one.
Yeah, we might have to, man.
Those type of things are crazy. My friend Rob from Classic Wolf, he's a security guard, and he was telling us like he has to drive around from place to place out in Phoenix, Arizona, and I've seen like videos of his like where he has to go. It's like out in the middle of nowhere sometimes, or it's like abandoned places. And I think he said he went somewhere, and he said there was like a cult or something, like close near a cemetery where they had to like go check out places or whatever. And then he was like, yeah, it was like just a group of people. He's like, and the same thing, like fight or flight type of thing. Like he didn't know like what he was gonna have to do because he's the only one. And then like it's way out somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and he's like, yeah, it's just like a bunch of random people, and they're all circled up like in this fire, and they had on like some type of like robes, like black robes and red robes and stuff like that. And I was like, well, what'd you do? And he said, man, I just had to get out and tell them to leave. Like I just had to, because they can't be there. And he said, I just had to get out, and he's like, I don't know what was gonna happen, but yeah, I just had to. Man, you guys can't be out here. And like they were, I don't know what they were. He said they just had like little knives and stuff, and they're all circled up, and
Oof.
And he was like, yeah, if you guys don't leave, I'm calling the cops or whatever. And then he was like, I said, would they fight you or what'd they do? And he's like, well, they were just saying like they were just hanging out, having a good time or whatever. Like, and he was like, but why would you be out there in the middle of nowhere, just wearing that, and then like maybe doing a blood sacrifice? I don't know, a blood pact or some sort. And then he said, nope, got to get out of here. Like, and then he said they just left. And then he said like he checks out there and they're never there when they're out there. But and then there's another story where I had Fallen Hour Radio on, and they were doing an investigation at some cemetery. It was like 3 or 2 a.m. I can't remember what they said, but they like drove out there. It was him and his brother and I think someone else. And they drove out there, and then they were like recording or whatever. And they're just like doing like this little paranormal thing. And they said like this van pulled up, this old school van like pulled up, packed with people, like pale people. And they got out, and they didn't say anything, and they just were quiet. And they're like, and they got this bad vibe. And they just like got out, and they just started like walking around and stuff. And they were like really pale, and that like, I think they said like that light in that van was like really bright or whatever. And then I think they talked to him. They're like, what are you guys doing out here? They didn't say anything. They're like, all right, let's get out of here. So they left after that. But yeah, they said they're like real pale people. And it was just so random that they just pulled up in this like old school van, and they just like got out, and they just like were walking around, and then they're staring at the guys from Fallen Hour, and they just like bounced out, and they're like, oh, we're out of here.
Man, you just never know about people. That's the thing about living in a bigger city, and that's, a lot of when I was doing investigations and going out, like I said, it wasn't anything formal. I'm just trying to experience something. That's as a high school and early college kid, and there's behind there is this like little, it's like a cove where the river kind of comes back behind there, and we used to go back there all the time. And one day in the middle of the day, we were. God, I'm getting goosebumps. Telling these stories, I don't tell these stories very often, but because sometimes I feel like people don't believe it. Yeah. You tell some of these stories, people are like, man, it's like, but we had, so there was a group of us, and all of us to this day, we, like I said, we're not really that close, because high school, you kind of fade away a little bit, after high school. And every now and then I bring it up, I'm like, remember that one day, and tell a story. But and they're always like, man, I was spooked out. It was creepy, but we were back there in that little cove. There's like, so there's water, and it's like a little beach. It's not really a beach, but it's just a gravel dirt mixture. And we're going out in those woods, and we'd be out there in the middle of the night, 2:00 in the morning. We'd hear something going on back there, like crashing and leaves breaking, and we'd always be like, man, and I'd start telling stories, kind of just getting spooked out there and with the fire, and so we went out in the middle of the day and we looked back there and there was all these dog skeletons, like hundreds of dogs. Animals, like I said, the one I saw, the couple that I saw, or the little first area was all dogs. Now, the more they got back there was different animals in this little wooded area that's kind of right behind this power plant. So we're like, all right, we're on the quest. I started asking around, like, people that lived in the town. I said, you guys know anything about behind there? There's been rumors of a satanic cult, and or something going on behind that, something going on. Like, it's just make believe, people just trying to scare people to not go back there. I said, well, I've been finding animal carcasses, fresh ones too. It would be like a couple days old, like fresh, And so we started doing some investigating. We'd sit out there, like I said, I'm 17 years old. We're out there like in the grass, watching people go by, like in this little nasty dirt road that's just like littered with trash and just hard to get back there. And the only way we could get back there is my buddy had a Jeep, and it was like four-wheel drive Jeep, one of those buggy type that we could just get back there easy. But we kind of hid it off to the side, and we'd watch, and there'd be people every now and then come back there. Mm-hmm. And I'm being long-winded with this story. I guess that's Indian stuff, so one day we saw a car go back there, and it came out, but it was back there for a long, long time. So we started watching it. It'd go back there like once a week, and it'd be back there forever. So we never waited around for them to come out. A lot of times this one time we saw that there was a house that was right off the highway, and it had this big tall wooden fence because you couldn't see over it. It's one of those fences that's like 12 foot high. Like you can't, like you had to get on someone's back to look, and if you look from your car, you can't see it. Well, we started. We, like I said, walked the roads, and I started. The Hispanic community kind of lived off to the side in these trailer park. And I would go over there because I was buddies with them. But it's like, hey, what's going on back there? Like, oh, there's some weird stuff going on back there. He said, check that house that's by the highway. And we're like, okay. So I get on. So we go back up there. And it's the middle of the night. It's right across from the casino too, by the way. So like, it's fitting, I guess. But one of the girls that we're with, she was lighter weight, so we just kind of stacked up and we got her over so she could look over the fence, and she saw all these sigils, like all these like weird old style sigils. Mm-hmm. Now I never saw them, and I'd compare, see what they are, but there was a fire going in this shed, and you could see some figures going around the fire. You can't see into the barn because there was a barn inside the fence, and then there were sigils on the inside of the wall, sigils on the back of the house. But it was just a nice house, Yeah. Big fence, thinking, they just want their privacy because obviously they live next to the highway. Yeah. But who knows what that was, man. It was just creepy. It's just like, man. We started noticing dogs were going missing. I don't know. Like I said, I can't come to a conclusion on if it's really what it is, but I just thought it was weird that they had all these weird symbols on the gates and in the fence. But yeah, there's all types of stuff that I've that I've looked at. We looked at an old abandoned house in Chakotah. There's not. It was just abandoned. We just kind of checked it out and, hear some things. And then, at night we went out to Honeycomb Bluff out in Eufaula. And, not really nothing went on because there was just too many of us. We were high school kids, just trying to look for something to do on a Saturday night. But those are the two, that's the experience that really, it was the entire football season I was investigating this house my senior year. But, it's... You never know who you're dealing with, when it comes to certain things and certain entities and beings, and that's and that's a lot of the reasons why I don't investigate anymore, because it's just
Yeah.
It's crazy, you know.
Mm.
I'm gonna tell this one story, and I'm gonna go take my kids swimming. So you might have to finish this one up without me. But it's kind of similar to what you were talking about. You know, I grew up. We moved from East Tulsa to Broken Arrow. I lived over off of 71st. Well, excuse me, 81st, 145th back there, and that was back before when we moved here. It was like late 80s, probably 88, 89. This was not built up like it is now. Like Walmart's not there. None of that is here. It's just, I mean, Broken Arrow was like middle of nowhere when I was a kid because my grandparents lived out here off Mason Drive. But so when we moved out here, there was nothing here. So you just kind of meet kids in the neighborhood. You run around with kids in the neighborhood, and so I always felt like this is kind of like my Stand By Me story, where it's like, hey, y'all want to go see a dead body or whatever, you know what I mean? But we were all staying the night. I was probably about maybe 6th grade, maybe 7th grade, and we were staying the night with my friend at my friend's house, and he had said, you know, hey, I heard my parents saying that there's like some weirdos in the woods. There were some weirdos in the woods, and so y'all want to go see these weirdos? And so we're like, yeah. So it's probably like, I don't even know. I'm gonna say 2:00 in the morning, but I know this is again my, 13-year-old mind or 12-year-old brains trying to remember all these facts correctly. So we snuck out and we went down to, like I said, just out in the woods. And I'm gonna say probably, if I'm, memory serves correct, because my brain can see it, but I can't picture it now that everything's been built up around it. It's like it's changed so much, you know what I mean? Like I can't picture it other than like fields and stuff. But so we walked down into these woods, and we could hear like people that just like talking, like people talking. And I'm gonna say it was probably, if I'm guessing, right around where. Well, it used to be a drive-in movie theater there, and now it's nothing. And I think there's like a car wash there. It's right there off of 71st, I think it is. There's like a car wash there, and there's like is it like a fireplace, like a Hanlon fireplace? Like, that's the area. But like back then, though, it was all grown up. It was just woods. It wasn't anything. But anyway, so we walked down there, and we were like, trying to be real quiet. We're sneaking. We're like belly crawling or whatever. And we could hear people. We could see people. But we got too scared. We got way too scared. So we went back. Well, the next morning we got up, and we're like, let's go down and see, like, what that was. So we went back down there, and sure enough, man, like we went, there was a bunch of beer cans there, and there was like a bunch of like dirty magazines there. But then we found like I don't know why, but there's like a bunch of dirty magazines. There's like beer cans, and there was like shoestrings. They had like shoestrings, and they're all like little loops like tied up in the trees, and there was like just blood and like fur and stuff. And so we were like, we're out of here. Like I think we probably took a couple of the dirty books, but like then we like left. And I think a buddy of mine was trying to see if there was any beer left in those cans, trying to drink that leftovers or whatever. But that's the only story I really have. And like, we always heard like, man, there's a satanic cult. Like, what were y'all doing down there? That's a satanic cult. It's like, no, it's just weirdos.
People doing weird things.
Weirdos in the woods. So that's the only story I got about weirdos in the woods or satanic cults. But yeah, they had like a bunch of shoestrings, and they were like little loops, and they were tied up, and then like below in the trees, and then down below there was like fur and like looked like blood, like soaked into the mud. I didn't see like guts or carcasses or nothing like that, but there was like little pieces of fur, like a little rabbit. Like when you pull a rabbit, like little fur comes out, stuff like that. But anyway. That's my one weirdo in the woods story.
Still got those magazines. Vintage.
Yeah.
Should have held on to them. You never know. Could be worth something.
Well, it's probably like those. Well, I don't know, man. But like back in the day, like they would put like the one in the middle. Like the creepy one would be in the middle. You'd buy them in like packs of 3, and then like there'd be like 2 like normal ones on the outside. But then that one in the middle. There's always some kind of weird one, like chunky butts or something like that. Like just weird ones, man. I don't even know, but Probably took a couple of them weird ones.
Yeah. So he's an expert on those magazines.
Yeah.
He's telling us that it's like this, but not like that.
I had an older brother.
Yeah.
He schooled me. You don't want that middle one, man. That middle one's a weird one.
I like that one.
On the outside. It wasn't even me that took them. I was too scared.
God, I know those magazines are evidence in a murder, man.
That's a missing piece, probably.
Got him framed up.
Had all the DNA on
the
it.
man
Man.
cave.
It wasn't me that took them, so.
Classic. These are classics. Respect them.
Vintage. Sorry, Sherman.
Oh man.
Dang those guys.
Yeah, she's like, sicko, man. Don't come back in my house.
All you went out there for?
Do we have time for one more story?
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
one more, and I got to take my kids swimming, so.
Yeah, let's do
Okay,
it.
I'm gonna have you guys look at this. This is a picture. They were telling me this was at Mohican State Park up there. Now, this place, this home that I'm showing you guys. Now, you guys are talking about devil worshiping places. You know, again, you know, this area, you know, you have, you know, these spiritual people, but they told me, you know, there was an uprise in that area, you know, of satanic worshipers all through that area, you know, and they have conflicts with them, you know. And that house I was showing you, you know, is on that old Mohican State Park area over there, and the history of that is, you know, they was wiping out those Mohicans, you know, in that area. They went in there and massacred them and left them on the ground, you know. And, you know, they said, you know, that where that house was, you know, original, how you say, kind of like when they went to kind of go back and clean it up, they were just stacking those bodies.
A mass burial.
Yeah, but they didn't bury them.
Oh,
they
they just left them out there to.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so they just kind of threw those bodies over there, and then later on down the road, you know, I think they said early 1900s they built a home there. Well, actually, it was some kind of church that was originally there, and then it closed or burned down or something like that, and then later on, I think early 1900s, they built that house, and you know, of course, the people that owned that house always had, you know, bad luck and different things going on, so it went from homeowner to homeowner. And eventually, you know, somebody got it, you know, and supposedly how the story goes is this guy was a devil worshiper, you know, and he was trying to start a church there, devil worshiping church, and said he had ceremonies there all the time, you know, and of course, you know, they had blood sacrifices during these ceremonies, and I was told that this was a, you know, real bad bunch. You know, this was like early, I think 1930s or something like that. I mean, so it was a while back, you know, when this guy was doing all this kind of stuff, and now that, you know, people's tried to own that home after I think that guy had died, like in was it 19 right before one of those world wars. He had passed away. Something happened to him. He died. Anyway, that house, it started going up for sale again. People tried to, you know, own it, and they tried to clean it out, you know, but it always had this real bad odor, to it. You know, it was just awful, awful smell. And they said there was an original pentagram in the center of that house. And over time, you know, different owners tried to get rid of it, you know, and I think the inside was some kind of wood flooring, so you know they would replace that wood portion where that symbol was, but it always came back. And different owners, you know, put carpet on it and, you know, different things. And, you know, they wouldn't last very long. They said, you know, for whatever reason, it just get too freaky in there. Nothing with magazines, though. No, I was kidding. No, but, anyway.
Dang, I wish have told that story.
But, you know.
Told himself on, man.
I know, they try to cover it up, you know, but somehow, some way, that symbol would always come back.
Mm.
And, you know, the last owner of that place, he also was into devil worshiping, and he tried to conjure something to come back, you know, to life in that place. And how the story goes is, you know, I guess whatever he did, whatever he woke up, angered it. And it took his life. And I think, you know, to me, that's an important part of this story, because, you know, they always say, you know, you deal with those evil things, you know, they're the ones in control, not you. You might think you conjured this thing up, you know, to do your bidding, but, you know, these guys will trick you.
Yeah.
And just like this guy, it took him. And so the guy that owns it now, he's trying to get rid of it. You know, but, you know, he had heard I was in the area, that I like spooky stuff. And normally I won't go to something like that, but what he had told me was it was haunted. And so when I went there, you know, first thing I walked through that door, that odor hit me. And I knew it was something just super foul. You know, and this guy's tried to dress it up. He put furniture in there and kind of make it real classy. But then he went and showed me that pentagram. Then he told me the story behind it, how they've tried to get rid of it, how they tried to, you know, take the wood out and replace the flooring and do all kinds of stuff to it. But it continues to show. And, you know, he's, you know, saying, is that supernatural? You know, and of course by then, you know, I've already said, oh man, I need to get out of here.
It ain't natural.
Yeah, no doubt.
Supposed to be natural.
And so
You smelled odor through the door? Nah.
I said, man, that was crazy, you know, because right when I went in, I mean, you could just sense something wasn't right there.
Was he living there?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought he was living there. I was like, oh my goodness.
No, but he showed it to me, and, you know, he said, if you want to, you can stay tonight. And, you know, all I ask you to do is help me try to, you know, get the word out. I'm trying to sell this place. And I said, after he told me the history of this place,
here.
you know,
Stay here.
you know, I said, man, I don't know. I said, I'm not a demonologist. I don't know anything really about, you know, devil worshiping type stuff. I said, you might, you know, contact one of those guys. Maybe they might buy it, or, you know how to, you know, put whatever is in here back. And so, you know, that guy was, you know, just saying, well, I got it real cheap. He said, you know, but, you know, right now, he said, the way things are going, you know, I'm having bad luck. I just want to get rid of it. And he said, my wife's really hounding on me to get rid of it. He said, I thought it was going to be something I could fix up, you know, but he said, that odor and that symbol will never go away. And I said, I don't know what to tell you. I said, but, you know, I appreciate you, you know, showing this to me and telling me the story, you know, and stuff. So, but I will say, you know, in that house, like I said, he tried to fix it up. He tried to remodel it. It had real nice carpet. The walls were all, fixed up, and he had, artwork in there and really churched it up, I guess you might say. But man, that vibe in that house, it was just uneasy. And again, that was another place. I mean, I really got sick. And, even when I went back to my room, I know there was something there, and so that was something that, you guys talk about going to these places, I just want to throw out there, sometimes in these places, if these people really knew what they were doing, and sometimes even if they didn't, these things out there, that you encounter like this can really cause havoc. And so to be cautious on those things. And, I know that place, like I said, when I went back to my room, I encountered a lot of things that, came back with me. And so, with that being said, even if you have something that might try to take care of those things, sometimes they might put up a fight. And it's not easy to get rid of. And so I'm saying that from firsthand experience. I myself, had difficulty with this thing. And so, with that being said, all I want to, express to everyone that, whether you believe or you don't believe, be cautious with these things. Because, if you're not, just like that one thought he was going to conjure something, it took him.
Yeah.
End up in a snake belly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Be there for 3 days waiting on it.
Have you guys watched VHS, that movie?
I've seen it a long time ago.
Have you seen the newest one? There's VHS is you've seen it?
I've seen the first part. I dozed off.
I only
Have you
saw the
seen-
first one.
So VHS is like what's it called, an anthology?
It's like a found footage kind of thing, isn't it?
But they have like different
Oh,
stories.
yeah.
Like, so it's like it's like found footage or whatever, and it's a VHS tape, but it's a mixture of different like movies, I guess, like short films. And the newest one, there's one called Rat Man, and it reminded me that because it's in the sewer system, and like this news team goes down there, and it's probably my favorite one on that film or on that movie. But they go down this like sewer system, and then they meet this like what they think is like a homeless man, but I guess he's like baiting them, and then he's just kind of like laying there or whatever, and then they're trying to help him like what are you doing down here, like are you okay? And he's just like laying there not saying anything, and all of a sudden like these people show up out of nowhere, and they knock him out, and they take him like deeper into this tunnel system, and then they wake up, and then the camera guy or the it's like a reporter and a cameraman, like they're working for the news, and they wake up, and then that camera's like still on, like it's off, and it turns on, and it's just like on the ground, and then like these people are like they got that cameraman, and they're saying something like to summon this like rat man thing, but it's like a cryptid like humanoid like rat person, and they're like, oh hell, like rat man, and like he's gonna take over or whatever. And I mean, it's pretty crazy. And they got this like cameraman, he's kind of like woozy from being knocked out, and they put him towards like this giant like manhole, and all of a sudden like this giant like it's a rat head, but it's like a human too. It comes out and it snatches his head up, it takes it off, and then that woman's like freaking out, but then it like comes out of the manhole, and it's like this giant like rat thing, and it's like growling and stuff. It's making all these noises, and like all these people are surrounding it, and they're like worshiping it, and they're like, it's only a matter of time before we take over. And then that girl gets away, and these people start running after her, and I think she like, I can't remember like what happens, but I don't want to spoil it, but you'll have to watch it. Like, I think it's the very first like short film like they have on that, and it's pretty cool. Like I always see like random videos of it on TikTok, but that's probably like my favorite one on that new one. The rest are kind of like, man.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the series.
Yeah, like the rest. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean to hit it. If you're listening, I didn't mean to hit it that hard with the first one.
That's kind of the same, man. I think
Yeah.
I watched a couple of good ones and then just kind of you're in and out of it. So
Yeah.
those ones
Yeah.
like,
Russell, I thought you was gonna start talking about that. So that movie with that rat that taught those 4 turtles kung fu.
Splinter. Splinter's origin story.
So he's resurrected from the other side.
This is the evil Splinter.
yeah, I was gonna say it's that bad spirit.
That's how it starts, huh?
All hail Splinter. Oh my god. Check us out on Instagram at dang, I can't remember what it is. I never remember what it is.
Unsolved Reservation Mysteries.
Just type it in. No, he's gonna give you the @
Yeah, it's Unsolved Reservation Mysteries. Because I have to like change like because oh man, I hate like apps. They're so like you can only use like so many letters.
Yeah.
Like one, I think TikTok's like 30. This one was like 25 or something.
Yeah.
So I have to like change every one of them. But check us out on TikTok too at Reservation Mysteries. Let's get that number up. But if you guys want to shout your stuff out.
Yeah, Tyler Randall at Skoden Cinema. I'm at Skoden_cinema on Instagram. Got the Facebook page as well. Same name, Skoden Cinema.
I'm Chris Hill. You can find me on Christopher Honka Hill on Instagram. But
And I'm just a guy. Yehola Tiger. I appreciate you guys letting me join. It's been a really good time.
All right, everybody. Bye.
Productofthe90s.